I paid off my parents' mortgage as a surprise on their anniversary. At dinner, my dad raised his glass and said, "Look at her buying attention again." My sister burst out laughing. I just smiled, said nothing and left early. The next morning, the bank reversed the payment I'd made. By 9 a.m., my phone had 64 missed calls. I paid off my parents' mortgage as a surprise on their anniversary. Let me say that again, I cleared their entire debt. $127,000. Gone. And you know what my dad said when he raised his glass at dinner? "Look at her buying attention again." My sister Rachel literally spit out her wine laughing. I just smiled, said nothing and walked out. The next morning at 8:47 a.m., I reversed the payment. By 9 a.m. my phone had 64 missed calls. But let me back up because you need to understand how we got here. My name is Claire and I'm the middle child in a family where that label actually meant something. Rachel was the golden firstborn. Perfect grades, perfect husband, perfect kids. My younger brother, Marcus, was the baby everyone coddled. Me, I was just there. The one who tried too hard according to them. Growing up, nothing I did was ever quite right. When I got into Cornell, my mom said, while Rachel got a full scholarship to Yale. When I made partner at my law firm at 32, my sister said, "Must be nice having all that time since you're not married." That one stung. I'd been engaged to David, but when my grandmother, my Nana Grace, got sick, I flew home every weekend for 8 months. He said I was too consumed with family drama, and left. Rachel never even asked if I was okay. Nana Grace was the only person who ever really saw me. She'd hold my hand in that hospital room and say, "Claire Bear, you've got a heart bigger than this whole family deserves. Don't let them make you small." She died 3 years ago. Left me her entire savings, $180,000. My parents didn't know about it. Nobody did. 6 weeks ago my parents were coming up on their 35th anniversary. Mom mentioned at Sunday brunch how stressed they were about the mortgage. Dad's back problems meant he might have to retire early from his construction job. Rachel suggested they downsize. "Just get a cute little condo," she said, waving her French-tipped nails. Easy for her to say. Her husband Brett practically prints money as a cardiologist. Marcus, 28 and still living in their basement, said nothing. Something clicked in me. This was how I could finally do something they couldn't dismiss. Something undeniable. I spent 2 weeks arranging everything. Called the bank, verified the payoff amount, coordinated the wire transfer. I imagined my dad's face. Maybe he'd actually hug me for once. The dinner was at Marcello's, this Italian place they loved. Just family. Rachel talked about her recent trip to Tuscany. Marcus brought his new girlfriend, Amber, who seemed completely overwhelmed. I waited until dessert. My hands were shaking when I pulled out the envelope. "Mom, Dad," I said, standing up. "I wanted to do something special for your anniversary. Your mortgage is paid off. Completely. As of yesterday." I handed them the certificate. The table went silent. Mom opened it, her eyes scanning the document. Dad read over her shoulder. I waited for the gratitude, the moment where they'd finally see me differently. Instead, Dad set down the paper, picked up his wine glass and looked around the table with this smirk. "Look at her," he said. "Buying attention again." Rachel exploded into laughter. Genuine, bent over the table laughter. "Oh my God, Dad, you can't." She couldn't even finish. Mom just looked uncomfortable. Marcus stared at his plate. I felt something break inside me. Finally. Completely. "Well," I said, my voice eerily calm, "happy anniversary." I grabbed my purse, left 3 20s on the table and walked out. Nobody followed me. I sat in my car for 20 minutes just breathing. Then I drove home, poured a glass of Nana Grace's favorite whiskey and made a decision. At 8:47 the next morning I called the bank. "Hi, yes, I need to reverse a mortgage payment I made 2 days ago." The representative was confused. "Ma'am, are you sure? This will reinstate the full loan balance." "Crystal clear," I said. "Do it." I hung up, turned off my phone and went for a run. When I got back at 9:30 I finally checked my phone. 64 missed calls. 37 from my dad. 18 from my mom. 9 from Rachel. I was done being invisible. Done being the punchline. At 10:15 I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "Your father is at the bank. He's crying. Thought you should know." I stared at that message for a long time. Part of me wanted to feel vindicated. But mostly I just felt tired. And maybe, just maybe, a little bit powerful for the first time in my life. What I didn't know yet was that those 64 missed calls were just the beginning. I didn't listen to the voicemails right away. I made myself a sandwich, poured some iced tea and finally pressed play around noon. My dad's voice came through, shaky and panicked. "Claire, honey, there's been some kind of mistake. The bank is saying the payment was reversed. Please call me back." The second one, 10 minutes later. Claire, seriously, we need to talk. Your mother is having a panic attack. Then Rachel's voice, annoyed. Claire, what the hell? Mom called me crying. Did you screw something up with the bank? Fix it. I actually laughed at that one. Fix it. Like I was the problem. By voicemail 12, my dad's tone had shifted. Claire, if this is about what I said at dinner, I was joking. You know how I am. Joking. He was joking. I deleted the rest without listening and blocked all their numbers. That evening, someone knocked on my door. Marcus stood there, hands in his pockets, looking uncomfortable. I opened the door but didn't invite him in. What do you want? Just a talk. Look, I know Dad was out of line at dinner. And yet you said nothing. I know. I'm sorry. He actually looked sorry. But Claire, they're freaking out. Dad spent 4 hours at the bank today. Mom hasn't stopped crying. And now they're exactly where they were 2 days ago, I said. I didn't make their situation worse, Marcus. I just didn't make it better. But you said you would. No, I did. Past tense. Then Dad made it very clear what he thought of that gesture, so I took it back. I crossed my arms. If they want the mortgage paid off, Rachel's husband makes 3 times what I do. She can write the check. You know Rachel won't do that. Exactly. I started to close the door. Go home, Marcus. They want to apologize. Then they know where I live. I closed the door and leaned against it, my heart pounding. 2 days passed. Silence. I went to work, came home, lived my life. It felt strange not having the constant background noise of family obligations and Sunday brunches. It felt like freedom. On the 3rd day, I got a call from an unknown number. Is this Claire Hendricks? A woman's voice, professional. Yes. This is Patricia from Mercy General Hospital. Your mother, Susan Hendricks, was admitted this morning. She collapsed at home. My stomach dropped. What happened? Is she okay? Your father brought her in. The doctor will explain more when you arrive. I was out the door in seconds, my hands shaking as I drove. Whatever anger I had, whatever boundaries I was setting, none of that mattered if Mom was seriously hurt. When the elevator doors opened at the hospital, I saw my entire family in the waiting room. Dad pacing. Rachel on her phone. Marcus sitting with Amber. They all looked up when they saw me. Dad started walking toward me. Claire, thank God. I held up a hand. Where's Mom? A doctor appeared. Family of Susan Hendricks? She's stable, he said. Severe anxiety attack that triggered a cardiac episode. We're running tests, but her heart looks fine. She needs rest and stress management. Relief flooded through me. Can I see her? One at a time for now. I followed the doctor down the hall to a room where Mom lay hooked up to monitors, looking pale and small. She saw me and started crying immediately. Claire, I'm so sorry. I stood at the foot of her bed, arms wrapped around myself. Your father was wrong. What he said was cruel. And I should have said something. I should have defended you, and I just sat there like a coward. Her voice broke. I know we've never made you feel valued. I know we've always compared you to Rachel. And then when you did something so generous, your father threw it in your face. I don't blame you for taking it back. I pulled a chair over and sat down. Mom, you being here isn't my fault. I know. The doctor said it's been building for a while. High blood pressure, stress. He reached for my hand. But losing you? The thought of losing you because we're too stupid to appreciate you? That's what put me over the edge. We sat in silence for a moment, her hand in mine. I need things to change, I finally said. I can't keep being treated like I'm less than. I know. And they will change. I promise you, Claire. I wanted to believe her. But promises were easy in hospital rooms. Outside in the waiting room, my father and Rachel were waiting. And based on the look on Dad's face when I walked out, I knew the real conversation was just beginning. I walked out of Mom's room and found Dad standing right outside the door, like he'd been waiting there the whole time. Claire, can we talk? Not here, I said, walking past him toward the waiting room. Rachel looked up from her phone. How is she? Stable. She needs rest. I kept walking toward the elevator. Claire, wait. Dad followed me. Please. Just give me 5 minutes. I stopped and turned around. You had 37 phone calls to say whatever you want to say. I don't owe you 5 minutes. You're right. You don't. His voice cracked. But I'm asking anyway. Something in his face looked different. Broken maybe. I'd never seen my dad look small before. Fine. 5 minutes. I crossed my arms. He glanced back at Rachel and Marcus, then at me. Not here. Can we go to the cafeteria? We rode the elevator in silence. The cafeteria was nearly empty. Just a couple of nurses on break and an old man doing a crossword puzzle. Dad bought 2 coffees even though I didn't ask for one and sat down across from me. I've been an asshole, he said. I almost choked on the sip I'd just taken. My father never admitted he was wrong. Ever. For years, he continued. To you specifically. And I don't have a good reason why. He stared into his coffee. Maybe because you remind me of myself. Stubborn. Independent. Always trying to prove something. That's not an apology, Dad. I know. He looked up at me. I'm sorry, Claire. For what I said at dinner. For laughing at you instead of thanking you. For making you feel like nothing you do is ever good enough. His eyes were red. You paid off our house. Our entire mortgage. Do you know what that means? Your mother and I could actually retire. We could breathe for the first time in 30 years. And I repaid you by mocking you in front of the whole family. I didn't say anything. When the bank called and said the payment was reversed, I thought it was a mistake. I spent 4 hours there, Claire. 4 hours arguing with them, showing them the certificate, demanding they fix their error. He laughed bitterly. The manager finally pulled me aside and said, Sir, your daughter requested the reversal herself. And that's when I realized what I'd done. Good, I said quietly. You should realize it. I do. And I know sorry isn't enough. He slid an envelope across the table. This is a check for $30,000. It's everything your mother and I have in savings. I want you to have it. I stared at the envelope like it might bite me. What? I can't pay you back the full amount. Not yet. But this is a start. And I'm going to pay you the rest every month until... Stop. I pushed the envelope back. I don't want your money. Claire. I don't want your money, Dad. I never did. My voice shook. I wanted you to see me. Just once, I wanted you to look at me and be proud instead of finding something wrong. He was crying now. Actually crying. I am proud of you. God, Claire, you're a partner at a law firm at 32. You're brilliant and successful and you've built this incredible life. I'm so proud of you I don't know what to do with it. Then why? Because I'm a coward, he said. Because it's easier to make a joke than to show emotion. Because I'm terrified that if I tell you how much I admire you, you'll realize you don't need us anymore and you'll leave. I sat back in my chair stunned. So instead I push you away before you can leave on your own. Real smart, right? He wiped his eyes. I'm working on it. I swear to God, Claire, I'm going to do better. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. A text from a number I didn't recognize. I opened it and felt my blood run cold. It was a photo of my car in the hospital parking lot with all 4 tires slashed. The message below it read, looks like someone doesn't appreciate family. Shame about the car. Wonder what else could happen. My hands started shaking. Dad, did you give anyone my license plate number? Or tell anyone I'd be here? He looked confused. No, why? I showed him the phone. His face went white. What the hell? Who would? I don't know. My mind was racing. I'd made enemies in my career. Defense attorneys I'd destroyed in court, people I'd sued. But this felt personal. Then it hit me. Where's Rachel? We practically ran back to the waiting room. Rachel was still there, scrolling her phone. Marcus and Amber were gone. Where's Marcus? I demanded. Rachel looked up, startled. He took Amber home. Why? I showed her the photo. Did you tell anyone I was coming here? Post anything on social media? Her face went pale. Oh my God. Claire, I'm so sorry. I posted a story on Facebook. Just saying Mom was in the hospital and we were all here supporting her. I tagged you in it. Who follows you? I don't know, like 800 people? Friends, family, coworkers. She stopped. Wait. Brett's cousin Kyle. He sent me a weird message last week asking about you. Asking if you were single, where you lived. I thought it was creepy so I didn't respond, but he could see the post. I finished. Dad was already on his phone calling security. I was calling the police. What I thought was going to be a conversation about family drama had just turned into something much more dangerous. And the worst part? The night was just getting started. The police arrived within 20 minutes. 2 officers. One older guy named Detective Morrison and a younger woman, Officer Chin. I showed them the photo and explained about Kyle. Do you know Kyle's last name? Morrison asked. Rachel was panicking now. Kyle Zimmerman. He's Brett's second cousin. I barely know him, I swear. He's always been off. Brett doesn't even talk to him. Has he contacted you directly before this? Chin asked me. Never. I didn't even know he existed until 2 minutes ago. They took my statement, checked my car. Yeah, all 4 tires completely destroyed and said they'd look into it. Hospital security was pulling footage from the parking lot. Dad sat next to me the whole time, his jaw clenched. I'll pay for the tires. And a rental car. Whatever you need. Dad, it's fine. It's not fine. None of this is fine. He looked at Rachel. You need to make your Facebook private. Now. Rachel was already on her phone, deleting the post with shaking hands. I didn't think, God, Claire, I'm so sorry. I never meant for. I know, I said, though part of me was still furious. This was so Rachel. Acting without thinking, assuming everything would be fine. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but Detective Morrison nodded at me to pick up. Hello. Heavy breathing on the other end. Then, you think you're so much better than everyone, don't you? My blood went cold. Who is this? You humiliate your family, throw money around like it makes you special. Someone needs to teach you a lesson. Morrison was already signaling chin, mouthing, trace it. Kyle. I said, keeping my voice steady. This is Kyle, right? Pause. You don't even know me. Then why do you care what I do with my family? Because Rachel deserves better than a sister who abandons her own mother in the hospital over some petty argument. I've been watching her for months. He's perfect. And you're poison. Oh God. He wasn't after me. He was obsessed with Rachel. I looked at my sister who had gone completely white. Kyle, I'm going to hang up now. The police are tracing this call. Good luck with that. He laughed. Burner phone. But I'll see you around, Claire. Real soon. The line went dead. Rachel looked like she was going to be sick. He's been watching me? For months. Brett appeared then, running down the hallway. Marcus must have called him. What's going on? Rachel texted me something about the police. Detective Morrison filled him in. Brett's face went from confused to furious in seconds. Kyle did this. That's psychotic. He turned to Rachel. I told you to block him after he showed up at your yoga class. I told you. You never told me that. Rachel's voice went shrill. When did he show up at my yoga class? 3 weeks ago. I handled it. I told him to stay away from you. You handled it? Brett, you should have told me. They started arguing. Dad was on the phone with Mom trying to keep her calm. Officer Chin was coordinating with hospital security. And I just sat there, realizing that my act of revenge, reversing that mortgage payment, had somehow led to all of this. If I hadn't reversed it, I wouldn't have come to the hospital. Rachel wouldn't have posted about it. Kyle wouldn't have known where I was. This isn't your fault, a voice said. I turned. Marcus had come back, standing in the doorway with 2 cups of coffee from the good place down the street, not the hospital cafeteria. Feels like it is, I said. Kyle's been stalking Rachel for months, apparently. This was going to happen eventually. He handed me a coffee. Extra cream, no sugar. The way Nana Grace taught you to drink it. I took it, feeling tears prick my eyes. You remembered. I remember a lot of things. Like how you used to help me with homework even when Rachel said I needed to figure it out myself. How you drove 4 hours to my college when I had the flu because Mom and Dad were busy with Rachel's wedding planning. He sat down next to me. I've been a terrible brother, Claire. Just watching while they treated you like crap. But I'm done watching. Security came back then with news. They had footage of Kyle in the parking lot. He was identified and they'd issued a warrant for his arrest. Do you have somewhere safe to stay tonight? Morrison asked me. Just as a precaution. Before I could answer, Dad spoke up. She's staying with us. In her old room. And I'm installing new locks and a security system tomorrow. I started to protest, but Marcus cut me off. He's right. Kyle knows where you live. Rachel's Facebook has tagged you at your apartment before. Our house is safer. Rachel was crying now, clinging to Brett. This is all my fault. If you hadn't posted, we wouldn't know Kyle was dangerous, I said quietly. Now we do. Now the police are looking for him. It wasn't forgiveness exactly. But it was something. We all ended up staying at the hospital until visiting hours ended. Mom was sleeping but stable. The doctor said she could go home tomorrow if her tests came back clear. On the drive to my parents' house, Dad insisted on driving me since my car was evidence now. He cleared his throat. I meant what I said earlier. About doing better. About being proud of you. I know, I said. And I'm reinstating the mortgage payoff. First thing Monday morning, I'm calling the bank and having you put that payment through again. I looked at him surprised. You earned that money. Nana Grace left it to you because she knew you'd do something good with it. And you did. You tried to help us and I threw it back in your face. His hands tightened on the steering wheel. I don't deserve your generosity, Claire. But I'm accepting it anyway because turning it down again would be even more insulting. We pulled into the driveway. The house looked the same as always. The porch light on, Mom's garden gnomes lining the walkway. There's something else, Dad said as he turned off the engine. Something I need to tell you about why I've been so hard on you all these years. I turned to look at him. But it's going to take more than one conversation, he continued. And I need your mother there too. Tomorrow when she's home and rested. Will you stay for that? I thought about Nana Grace. About boundaries and self-respect and knowing when to walk away. But I also thought about second chances. Yeah, I said finally. I'll stay. What I didn't know was that tomorrow's conversation would change everything I thought I knew about my family. Mom came home the next afternoon. Dad had transformed the living room. Fresh flowers, her favorite blanket, cookies from the bakery she loved. Rachel and Brett stopped by briefly. Rachel hugged me tight. Thank you for not hating me, she whispered. I don't hate you, I said. And I meant it. Marcus stayed. I want to hear this too. We all sat down. Mom on the couch, Dad next to her, me and Marcus in the armchairs. Dad took a deep breath. Claire, the reason I've been so hard on you is because you scare me. I blinked. What? When you were born, you almost died. Cord wrapped around your neck. Those first few minutes. His voice cracked. I held you and promised myself I'd protect you from everything. Mom squeezed his hand. But you can't protect someone by pushing them away. Every time you took a risk, Cornell moving to the city, becoming a lawyer, I panicked, Dad continued. So I criticized, hoping you'd play it safe. Stay close. He wiped his eyes. Rachel was easy. He followed the rules. But you were fire. Like Nana Grace. And it terrified me. Mom pulled out an envelope. Nana Grace gave me this before she died. She made me promise to give it to you when the time was right. My hands shook as I opened it. Claire Bear, if you're reading this, your parents finally told you why they've been so scared of you. Good. They need to get over themselves. You almost dying wasn't your fault. You're here. You're alive. You're magnificent. I left you that money because I knew you'd do something beautiful with it. Whatever you choose, make it count. Don't let their fear make you small. All my love, Nana Grace. Kiss. The rest of my estate goes to you too. My house in Portland, the vintage car, and another $300,000 in investments. Your parents don't know. Surprise. Use it joyfully. I read it twice, then laughed. Nana Grace, you brilliant woman. Marcus grinned. She really said, get over themselves? My phone buzzed. Detective Morrison. Kyle Zimmerman in custody. Caught trying to break into Rachel's house. He's going away for a long time. The relief in the room was instant. It's over, Mom whispered. Not quite. I stood up. Dad, I'm accepting your apology. You can reinstate the mortgage payment. But I have conditions. Anything. Family therapy. All of us. Once a month minimum. Done. And you stop comparing me to Rachel. We're different people. Absolutely. And Marcus moves out of the basement. I looked at my brother. You're 28. Get your own place. I'll help you. Marcus actually looked relieved. Thank God. Dad pulled me into a hug. A real one. I'm proud of you, Claire. So damn proud. 3 weeks later, the mortgage was paid off. Dad cried at the bank, the good kind of crying. Rachel and I started having actual sister lunches. Marcus moved downtown. I helped him pick out furniture. I kept Nana Grace's Portland house as a retreat. Sold the vintage car for a ridiculous amount. Started a foundation in her name for women recovering from family estrangement. My family wasn't perfect. Dad still made bad jokes. Rachel still overshared online. Marcus still forgot to call Mom. But we were trying. Really trying. And that was more than I ever expected when I reversed that mortgage payment. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying someone. It's making them realize what they almost lost. So that's my story. If you've dealt with family stuff like this, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Hit like if you enjoyed this, and if you think I should have handled things differently, let me know. I'm genuinely curious what you think. Thanks for listening. It means everything.